Hello and welcome. We're going to have a look at the Walther PPQ M2 today, the UK spec version, with the armbar and the 300mm barrel. Now this isn't a full review, there's lots of those on YouTube already for the UK spec version. I just want to concentrate really on the internals and how the weapon strips down. So what we're seeing here is the internals, a broken down version of the PPQ. This is the M222 version for the UK market, so the extended barrel and the arm bar. Just wanted to really point out what the internals look like. So it's a very simplistic system, based exactly the same as the normal M222 that you can get in Europe. Obviously that's got a 4 or a 5-inch barrel depending on the slide size that you have, but basically the lower or the fire control unit, all one piece. This breaks down exactly the same way as I said as the European version. Spring and retainer at the front there. Now interestingly, it is a shrouded barrel, so barrel piece here is stamped and marked 22 Walther on it. Nice clean rifling, and obviously we've got the ramp and slide at the front there. Then we've got the outer barrel cover, so it's an interesting feature. Just something I wanted to point out, that this isn't a one-piece barrel, it's two pieces, so it's a barrel and a cover. That's held on tight by the screw at the end there, which then holds the faux suppressor in place on the front of the actual pistol. Top slide, nicely machined and milled, marked off with Walther on there quite clearly, PPQ, and stamped and marked on the right hand side. So a whole one-piece top slide, all cut out and machined. Pistol itself is easily maintained, so there's not much really to it. You can see it's got an internal hammer mechanism, and obviously you've got the magazine release and box there, but to clean this is literally a 5-minute job. Pull down the little retainer there once it's cocked, and you've taken the barrel assembly out, and then you can lift this over the top. So, you know, just really a quick look at the internals on this pistol. I've just cleaned this, taken about 5 minutes, and I probably put about 250 rounds through it this morning at the range. So it's quite good, quite nice and easy to put together. So let's put this pistol together. Quite simply, fire control unit at the bottom, return spring, barrel on barrel shroud, top piece, and then the faux suppressor at the top, which obviously covers the front of the barrel. Quite a simple process with this pistol. There's a number of different ways you could put it together, but largely, you know, it just depends what your preference is. So I'm simply going to start with the return spring and guide, which sit just underneath the barrel extension area. Next we're going to put the barrel in. So we've got the barrel feed ramp there, simply through the hole, and try and keep out the way so you can see this. It just slots into the groove at the top, holding plate, at the back, and that just pops in like that. So now we can put the barrel cover on. At the back here there is a little groove that just fits inside the slide entry at the top there. So quite simply, barrel cover over the top of the barrel, and it just pinches into place. So that's in now, that's nice and tight. So we've got our guide spring, return spring there. All we need to do now is put the top slide on. Not a difficult process. The only thing that's a little bit fiddly is to just get the guide spring in. You do get a little tool for that here in the packet. I've never needed to use it, to be honest. It's quite easy to do this, so it's a fairly simple process. All we need to do, push that over the top of the barrel. When we get close to the spring, just make sure with our thumb we just guide that spring into the return spring area there. So that's in, and all we need to do is pinch it across the top, just as you would with any other pistol. There we go. So now that's in place, the barrel cover can still pull out at this point, okay, but you know there's a little guide, little notch in there to hold it in place. Simply pop up pull down pieces here which allow you to remove the slide, and then all we need to do is put that faux suppressor on, which will hold all of this in place nice and tight. I've had this to pieces a couple of times. I fired about 500 rounds through it and it doesn't lose zero actually, and I was worried about this having a slide cover on it or a barrel cover, but to be honest it's a fairly simple thing to do. All we need to do is put the reel of the faux suppressor on. This piece at the top here is going to screw into the top, and we do have a guide at the top there as well for it, so we just need to screw that on. Make sure it's tight. Quite simple to do, it takes just a few minutes. There we go, that's on nice and tight now. You do get a little spanner with that. Okay, just to tighten that up. And then we can just finish the process off by putting this faux suppressor over the top of the barrel and starting that screwing on piece there. So now that's located at the top. Push this in first, screw that in place. Again, it takes a few seconds to do. And that's quite flush with the barrel, or the barrel cover. Tighten that up by hand, and then finish that off by screwing the faux suppressor onto the barrel at the other end. And that's the process of stripping down for maintenance the UK Spec PPQ M222LR. Just a quick nod, nice little patch that you get when you buy this off Oceana Defence, who are the importers. Just to point out, you do get a couple of tools in here for setting the sights, taking the pistol down a bit further if you need to, and obviously that guide spring rod there, which you can push through to just guide the spring in, but to be honest, you don't need this at all. Thanks for watching.